I'm going to call to order this meeting of the San Bernardino County Advisory Redistricting Commission today, Wednesday, September 15th, 2021. This morning, we are privileged to welcome the Mayor of Yucaipa, Mr. Greg Bogue, who will lead us in the invocation and in the Pledge of Allegiance. Mayor, thank you.
Welcome to the beautiful city of Yucaipa. Our Father in heaven, we are indeed grateful to live in the beautiful county of San Bernardino and in the United States of America, the land of great opportunity. Let us be blessed with wisdom to continue with the greatness of the land in which we live. Thank you for all the blessings which have been bestowed upon us. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Please join me in the salute of our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mayor, thank you. And I would be remiss if I didn't say a few words about Mayor Bogue. He has served on the Yucaipa City Council since 2010. He grew up in San Bernardino County, and he has long seen the importance of community involvement, particularly in these types of community affairs. The mayor has a love for helping others, as well as we just heard, a great love for the city of Yucaipa. He's lived in Yucaipa since 2002 with his wife, and I hope I pronounce her name correctly, Senator Rosilisi, and their 3 children. Mayor, again, thank you for joining us this morning. All right, at this time, we'll take a roll for the commission, and Madam Secretary, if I can impose on you to do so, please.
Thank you, Judge. Judge Davis.
Present.
Vice Chair King.
Present.
Judge King.
Present.
Commissioner Creffield.
Present.
Commissioner Little.
Present.
Commissioner Basley.
Present.
Commissioner Jernigan.
Present.
Commissioner Anderson. Commissioner Shannon. Commissioner Reynolds. Commissioner Hazlett. Commissioner Wilson. Thank you, Judge. We have a quorum.
Madam Secretary, thank you so much. At this time, the first item on our agenda deals with approval of the minutes from the commission's last meeting last week, September 7th. I was not present, so of course I will abstain from any voting, and I want to thank my vice chair, Ms. Naquin, who ran the meeting extremely well in my absence. Ms. Manel, do we have any public comment requests on this agenda item?
No, we do not, Judge.
All right. So the minutes from the last meeting have in fact been circulated. At this time, I will entertain any motion to so approve those minutes. Do I have such a motion? We have a motion
Second.
by Judge King, and
Second.
we have a second from Commissioner Creffield. Any further comments or questions? Ms. Hazlett, I don't know what I would do without you. There are occasions I feel that I would be lost if you did not join us. I have had a busy couple of weeks and it just seemed like I wasn't there. Thank you for reminding me. And that was in my hometown even, so you would think I would know this. I was indeed there, and I apologize if I'm blushing, but that's rightly done. All right, so we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor of approval of the minutes signify by indicating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. We now are going to have, there she is. We now are going to have the pleasure of hearing from Council Julie Serber, who's going to speak on an issue that was raised several weeks ago. This deals with the authorization for commissioners and alternate commissioners to attend events in the county for the purpose of providing information and informational materials regarding the county supervisorial redistricting process. Ms. Serber, we're delighted to hear from you.
Thank you, Judge Davis. As requested at the September 7th meeting, this agenda item asks the commission to authorize commissioners and alternate commissioners to attend community events in the county for the purpose of providing information and informational materials regarding the county supervisorial redistricting process. As a reminder, a quorum, meaning 4 or more of commission members, should not attend the same event and provide information, as that could result in a Brown Act violation. The informational material is posted under the resource tab of the county's redistricting website that you'll receive further information on at a later item in this meeting. And we also have samples available on the back table. That completes my report. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Ms. Serber, thank you so much for that presentation. Do any of the commission members have any questions or any comments for Ms. Serber? Do any of the alternate commission members have any questions or comments for Ms. Serber? Ms. Hazlett, we're delighted that you feel that way. We appreciate your enthusiasm. Do we have any requests to speak, Ms. Monell, from members of the public?
We do not.
Madam Secretary, thank you so much. I think at this time, what I will do is ask if I have a motion to authorize commissioners and alternate commissioners, and I might add, particularly Ms. Hazlett, to attend events in the county for the purpose of providing information and informational materials regarding the county supervisorial redistricting process. Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
Commissioner Jernigan, thank you. Do we have a second for the motion? Judge King seconds the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes unanimously. I believe our next agenda item deals with the presentation by Ms. Pamela Williams, Chief of Administration, of the revised commission calendar that the commission is being asked to adopt. Ms. Williams, do you have some comments for us along those lines?
Good morning, Commission. Pamela Williams, Chief of Administration for the County Administrative Office. So based on the Commission's direction to add an additional date to the Commission calendar for the purposes of conducting a MAP workshop at the county's board chambers, we have added Thursday, October 14th at 6 p.m. to the calendar for the Redistricting Commission. So at this time, we would like for the commission to take a moment to review that in your folder today and adopt the revision to the calendar. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Williams, thank you as always. Let me ask, do we have any comments at all or any questions at all for Ms. Williams on this particular issue from any of the commission members? I don't hear any. All right. Do I have a motion to adopt the revised commission calendar, which now includes that October 14th meeting at 6 o'clock at the County Government Center Board of Supervisors meeting?
So moved.
Commissioner Basley, thank you very much. We have a motion from Commissioner Basley, and we have a second from Mr. Creffield. All in favor of approval of the adopted revised commission calendar, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously.
Judge, if I can just mention for the record that there were no requests to speak.
Manel, thank you. I forgot to ask, and I appreciate that. I believe at this time we have Mr. Wirt here, who's going to provide a report on public outreach and engagement of community groups of interest. Mr. Wirt, welcome. We're delighted to have you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. First of all, I want to commend your the work that you're doing, the time and effort you're putting into this important effort, and it is the honor and the pleasure of the county's communication team to assist you in getting the word out about your meetings and the other efforts related to redistricting. With me today, I have Justine Rodriguez, who is the Director of Marketing and Public Relations for Arrowhead Regional Medical Center. She is on temporary loan, hopefully not too temporary, to the County Administrative Office to assist us in a variety of efforts, one of which is to provide some additional horsepower to our efforts to publicize the work of the commission and the meetings. First time in my life I've been told I'm not talking loudly. Anyway, first what I would like to do is provide the commission with a review of the outreach efforts that we've been engaging in so far. And these fall into 5 main categories. Email blasts, which I'll go into some detail, I think, in the next slide. The county update, which I will also mention. The county update is the weekly county e-newsletter that we launched in really response to the coronavirus pandemic. It was a way for us to really focus our communications efforts, and it's turned into a very popular news feature that actually covers a lot more than pandemic news right now. We use that as a repository for pushing out a lot of information about different things in the county, including redistricting. There's County Wire, which is our county blog. It's also the main feature on our county's website homepage, and it's basically a news blog. We've gone in direct competition with the news media in terms of getting information out about the county, and it's some information that actually the news media has come to rely upon as a news source for the county. It's enabled us to really substitute the sending out scattershot press releases and focus our communications again in a way that we can get information out directly to the public, but also through the news media. Our social media efforts, which again I'll detail on an upcoming slide, and then finally the redistricting website, which we will go into on the next agenda item that focuses specifically on the website. Email subscription, the email blasts. The county uses a service called GovDelivery, which basically assists us in sending email blasts out to primarily people who subscribe. People have the option of subscribing to one of currently 398 topics, ranging from people who are engaged in pool inspections to general county news, updates on the clerk of the board's website. One of the things that we use this for is to push out the county update every Friday. And the county update is by far our most subscribed to topics. It currently has more than 243,000 subscribers. And these are people who have both voluntarily subscribed to it, which you can do, and people who we have added to that list. The county update goes out to all news media in Southern California, not just the outlets, but the individual reporters and editors. It goes to all city council members and mayors in the county, as well as other community leaders, community groups, and whatnot. So they all get the county update. And every county update contains information about upcoming redistricting meetings. The county update is translated into Spanish and is published at the same time as the English version. The second avenue that we use for email blasts to get out word about the Redistricting Commission's activities is the Redistricting 2021 topic. And we actually launched that topic in anticipation of this effort. I think before we even put the word out that we were going to form a commission, and there was already such keen interest in this topic that I think before we even started telling people that we had a redistricting topic, we had more than 500 subscribers who had just found the redistricting e-blast subscription site on their own, going through the county's list of offerings. Now, since then, we have had more people subscribe as the work of the commission has gotten out to the community, and we've also added people to that list. What we've done is we've gathered from our various sources in the county lists of community groups, good government groups, groups that focus on individual communities within the county, the Black community, Latino community, the Asian Pacific Islander community, faith organizations, as well as good government groups. And we've added them to that list. So every time that we send out an e-blast about an upcoming meeting, or other redistricting activities, it goes directly to their inbox so that they see it. And I think on our next slide, we have just a partial list of the community organizations that we've added to the list. And again, these cover the gamuts of community groups that represent ethnic and racial groups in the county, faith-based organizations, good government groups. One of them, Fair Districts IE, is, I believe, a subset of IE United, and Fair Districts IE is actually a collective of about, it seems, 10 or 15, maybe more, community and good government groups. So the word is getting out to a lot of people just through those email blasts. Another tool that we have at our disposal that we use quite a bit is social media. And these numbers are very good for a government organization. Our team has been very effective in managing our social media in such a way that they attract a lot of subscribers, a lot of followers, and we're very proud of that. Our Facebook page has more than 40,000 followers. Our Twitter is well over 11,000, Instagram 10,800. We are even on TikTok. Now, we just got on TikTok, so I'm not going to tell you how many followers we have because we just started, please understand. But we've already posted 5 videos to that. And I think 4 of them are redistricting videos. And embedded in this, see if this works, is one of the social media videos that we've posted to promote meetings. Okay, there's no sound and the Zoom is in front of it, but do that. Oh, look at that. I'll play that again, and I don't know if the audio is going to come through on that, but there's really just some charming music that goes through it. And it's a very brief, simple post, but most of what you see on social media, if you ever spend any time on social media, are usually static images. And we certainly do use those to promote the redistricting meetings. But these short little videos, they get a lot more engagement than just those static displays. So a lot more people will click on them. A lot of more people will share them. And in addition to all those followers that we have on each of those social media platforms, the real power comes when these posts are shared by our county partners. We have many county departments that have their own social media. They share the content from the county social media. We have other county partners and just members of the public who will share our posts with all of their followers. So the reach of these really grows exponentially every time we put something out. And we've created 26 unique posts for redistricting throughout the course of the effort so far, promoting the meetings, actually dating back to when we put out the solicitation for people to volunteer and apply to be on the commission. 7 of those have been these videos, which, as I mentioned, get more engagement than the static displays. So we put a lot of effort into trying to get the word out about the commission's activities through social media. And we believe very strongly that once the final data is available, when there's more talk about specific maps or boundaries, this has been the case in county redistrictings in the past, engagement and participation will really ramp up. And we are gearing up to meet the demand of that increased interest. And at this time, what I'd like to do is call Justine forward to share with you a plan that she's been working on to increase our outreach efforts and even more than they are today. So, Justine.
Thank you. Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners.
Good morning.
So we'd like to start with some digital billboards, and these will, we can
Move this thing out of the way for now. Zoom things kind of.
and we'll, our main focus is October and November, so we'll have these digital billboards running throughout October and November. We'll also be, and this is all paid marketing, except for the digital billboard. I was able to get that for no cost because Arrowhead has its own billboard until December. So we'll also be doing a large buy in digital streaming, and this will cover the entire county of San Bernardino. And it will get the messaging into every home, every mobile device. very comprehensive. So we're doing more of a spend in the digital streaming. We also have postcards that we've created, and they're out in the back of the room here today. They're also on our website for download. Social media boosts. David talked about the organic outreach that we're doing, but in addition to the organic social media outreach that we're doing paid social media boosts. And even with quite a little, maybe only $50 a month, that will get tremendous amount of boosting of the posts, and it will help get the messaging out throughout the county, especially with the number of followers that the county has. We will also be doing English and Spanish radio, and we'll bolster the redistricting marketing through that avenue. And we're going local, and we're going to advertise, paid advertising in the weekly newspapers throughout the county. And that will reach a variety of demographics. Did you want to cover the website?
Oh, yeah, that balance of the presentation is about the website, and that's technically the next agenda item. So at this point, I would invite the commission to ask questions or make comments on the outreach portion, or we can go ahead and present the website information and then do that. It's really at the pleasure of the chairman and the commission.
Mr. Wirt, first, thank you for your presentation. And Ms. Rodriguez, we appreciate you being here and presenting us with this information as well. I think what I'd like to do at this time is ask any of the commission members if they have any questions or comments for Mr. Wirt, or since we're graced to have Ms. Rodriguez here for his colleague, Ms. Rodriguez.
Not at this time.
Okay.
I did.
Mr. Basley, please.
Just comment. I wanted to thank you, Mr. Wirt, for that presentation. This was something that I asked for, and I'm very impressed with the work that the county has done in doing this outreach, and appreciate this presentation. The one question I have actually probably relates more to the next item, but some of those screens that were on there, especially the list of the organizations that you've contacted, is that on the website, the list, or we put something there to show people who do go on that site the number of organizations that we have contacted and that have contacted us and that we're in communication with, so the public, if they're on that site, go there. And again, that's probably more a question for the next item, but since we're there.
Thank you, Mr. Basley. I think that is something we put some thought into how we would present that. We could present those as partners. I'd want to get a little bit more information as to perhaps from Pam's team as to how engaged some of these organizations have been. Would not want to promote them as partners simply because they're receiving information, only to have them say, well, we haven't been working with you yet, so we're not really a partner. So it's a matter of defining that. But I think it would be very productive for us to find an opportunity and a method to share that information, to let it be known to all the groups that we are sending information to, that we are trying to engage in the process. I think you're right. That would be a very valuable addition to the website, and it would be a great way of communicating just how, to what degree this commission is trying to engage every segment in our very diverse county.
Then my only other question is, I didn't, see a mountain group or community listed there. I don't even know if there's one that exists, but I know we did have a couple members of the public and that residents of that community come. And obviously the mountain area is always an area that, or at least it was 10 years ago, and probably was 10 years before that, a keen interest to those members in that community. Are there any groups that we have made contact with, or do we know of any in that area?
I'm sure that there are, Mr. Basley. They're not coming to mind right away, but I know that we do have groups in the mountains. And that's an important thing that I should note. This group of community organizations, good government groups that we push information out to grows almost every day as we become aware of additional groups. As when someone mentions, what about the mountains, or what about this community, what about the Barongo Basin, it's like, wow, yeah, we should go out there. And so we actually go out on a routine basis and search the internet, talk to board offices, talk to other community partners about groups that we might not be aware of, that we didn't think of, to add to this communications list to engage in the process. And whenever we do that, we do add those addresses into the mass email system so that they do get in the system, they get the notices, they get engaged, and so that's a growing process. So no, I hadn't thought about specifically looking for groups in the mountains, but as a result of your comments, we'll do that, and we will add them to the list.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much. Again, appreciated the presentation immensely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Basley, thank you. Any further questions or comments from my colleagues up here with me this morning for Mr. Wirt? Let me turn to our esteemed colleagues, the alternate commission members. Mr. Anderson, any questions or comments at all for Mr. Wirt? Commissioner Runnels, let me ask, any questions or comments at all for Mr. Wirt this morning? Okay. And of course, Ms. Hazlett, any questions or comments at all for Mr. Wirt this morning?
That will be done by the end of the day, if not sooner.
Commissioner Hazlett, any further comments or questions for Mr. Wirt? All right.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, do we have any requests for public comment at this point?
We do not, Judge.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Wirt, now if we can, let's turn to your next presentation dealing with an overview of the county's redistricting website, please.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. And I again would like to thank Justine Rodriguez for joining me here today and for the effort that she has put into developing the expanded marketing campaign. But onto the website, here I really need to commend the work of the county's information technology department, because we work very closely with them in the development of the redistricting website in anticipation of the formation of this commission. And the work that lies ahead in accomplishing a fair and effective redistricting. On the screen here, there's a screenshot of the website homepage. Just move those apart from each other if that was it. There's a screenshot. I'm scared to make a noise. Did we find it? Nope. Okay. Okay, did we get it? I think so. So everyone's ears okay? All right. We'll proceed. We have a screenshot of the homepage there, and also a list of the major elements and menu items on the redistricting website. We have the definitions and explainer of what redistricting is, since it only happens once a year. Not everyone knows immediately what redistricting is, or more importantly, how incredibly important it is to representative government. A guide on participation, how people can get involved in this process. The calendar feature, which is really quite impressive. And here I really have to commend Pam, because she was very insistent and worked very closely with our IT department to make sure that the calendar was very detailed, very interactive, not just had dates on it, but actually had links to the agenda, to the agendas and to the meeting videos, to be able to watch the meetings not only live, but watch the archived meetings. And it's really kind of a one-stop for information, not just on upcoming meetings, but also on the meetings that have occurred in the past. which we don't often see on websites. So that's really an impressive feature. We, of course, have the mapping tool, which, I don't know yet whether we have folks on there who are actually creating maps yet, but it is something that we certainly haven't had in past redistricting, where we've been able to offer the public an opportunity to go on there and with technical assistance, draw their own maps and understand how the process works. Thank you. So there's the mapping tool. News, and that's going to be a link for pretty much any kind of press coverage that we get, not only on our activities, but if there are other press stories that we see out there that pertain to the redistricting process in general or within our county, we add that to that site. There's the FAQ site, which is always a constantly updated, living, breathing entity where whenever we sense that there are questions that need to be answered, we put them on the frequently asked questions website, the questions and the answers to help people understand the process better. There's information on this commission and contact information if the public wants to reach out to us. And finally, the most recent addition that we've made to this website is the resources tab. And I really have to thank Justine for making that happen. The resource tab on the redistricting website is going to be an ever-growing, expanding repository of documents, reports, anything that might help people understand the redistricting process better and assist them in participating. Some of the initial documents that we've loaded up there is basically a flyer on the commission in both Spanish and English. We have copies of that flyer up at the front desk of this meeting, and we'll have them in future meetings as well as being available to download from this site and to share. There's the community of interest testimony template. And what that is I believe at the last meeting, there was a presentation or a mention of some resources that have been provided by California Common Cause. And we've gone through those and have looked for items that would enhance our communication efforts, enhance our outreach efforts. We've rebranded them and localized them a little bit. And we've added one to the website, and we will do that with others in the future. And the purpose of these resources is not just for the public to go and utilize them, but they're also there for the commission members. If you're going to start meeting with community organizations or otherwise helping explain the process, these are available for your use as well. You can go to the resource site and download and print items that you might find useful in your efforts to explain the process to the communities that you serve. And again, this is something that we are going to be expanding as more information becomes available, more materials become available. And we would invite the commission, if you are aware of anything that we could add to the resource tab that should be there and available to the public that you think would be helpful, we can add those to the resource site very easily. So I think that concludes my presentation. If there is anything else the commission would like to know, if you have any questions.
Mr. Word, thank you so much for that presentation. I'm sure I speak for all of us when I say it's been very helpful and very informative this morning. So thank you for that. Let me ask Madam Secretary, do we have any public requests to speak with regard to Mr. Wirt's presentation before I hear from my colleagues?
We do not, Judge. Thank you.
Wonderful. Then let me ask my colleagues up here with me, any questions or comments at all for Mr. Wirt with regard to the redistricting website presentation we just enjoyed?
No.
Just again, thank you for the presentation. And I have been on this site a number of times. The time that I was able to be present, I found it was very easy to click on the live feed and watch the whole presentation. And so it was, and I think it was through that calendar feature, exactly how you mentioned. So again, thank you very much.
Commissioner, thank you. Any questions or comments from my colleagues on this end? Hearing none, let me ask the alternate commissioners. Mr. Anderson, any questions or comments at all for Mr. Wirt? Thank you very much. Mr. Runnels, any questions or comments at all for Mr. Wirt? No? And of course, saving the best for last. Ms. Hazlett, any questions or comments at all for Mr. Wirt this morning?
Thank you.
And Mr. Wirt, thank you again. I'll simply say that I find the redistricting website to be extremely helpful, and I am by no stretch of anyone's imagination technically proficient. So if I can find it helpful and work my way around it, it is a tremendous asset for everybody. So thank you.
I'm glad to hear that. The county is blessed with a very talented team, so it's a pleasure to be at your service. Thank you.
Thank you again. All right, at this time, our next agenda item is to hear from Ms. Williams. Or not to hear from her, I guess, it's to hear from my colleagues with regard to whether or not they have any requests for future direction to staff through Ms. Williams. Let me hear from my colleagues up here with me first before I hear from the alternates.
I would like to ask, or I guess I would need a motion to make a motion that we look back into adding an additional meeting in the cities of Loma Linda or Redlands or Highland. I know that availability, there was no availability when the calendar was adopted, but if we could look into adding a meeting into one of these cities. We received many public comment from citizens of Redlands that very much would like to see a meeting be held in their city. So I would just like to ask that staff reintroduce that or look into, see if availability is opened up.
We can certainly look at the calendar, manage based on the posting requirements for the agenda. The law states, I believe it's 5 days in advance, especially when we get into the map making process. So however those days line up, we can certainly look at what's possible. Thank you.
Thank
Was
you.
that a motion? I would second it.
I was going to say, and I was going to inquire of Madam Secretary, I'm not sure that this actually requires a motion. If it does, we can certainly go forward with it, but I would think the commission members giving some direction to staff, as has been requested by Commissioner Naquin, ought to be sufficient without a motion. Ms. Serber, any thoughts about that? Would you feel
Judge
more
Davis,
comfortable?
I would request that we have a motion and a second to provide direction of the entire commission to staff. Thank you.
You're very welcome. In that instance, then, we do have Commissioner Naquin's motion. We have the second by Commissioner Jernigan. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Can we comment on that first? John,
I can
since
certainly ask for comments. Absolutely, please.
No, there's a motion on the table. We did get some very nice letters from people in Redlands, 3 or 4, I think, and I do want to assure people that we do read these. I think every member reads every word. I'm sure of it. I think when we were setting up the calendar, and staff was of great assistance in doing this and finding locations, both in the evening and the daytime at a good number, I'm not counting here, but a good number of locations. There are some municipalities without a meeting. I'd say Chino, Victorville, and Redlands, for example. There are more, and then there are unincorporated areas that we're not visiting. Needles is also a municipality. Needles is not on here. I will say that today we're in Yucaipa. It's about 8-10 miles from Redlands. It's an adjacent city. And then the bulk of the meetings are in an adjacent city of Redlands. They're in San Bernardino. At least one of the correspondents says they want a meeting in the evening. I'd invite them to October 14 at 6 p.m. at the county headquarters and point out that that's a excellent time for us to receive their input. In the meantime, we're all over, but as we just saw the presentation from Mr. Wirt, we are online, and our meetings can be followed very closely by anyone, anywhere in the county and anywhere in the world, I guess, and they can look forward to our TikTok videos. I like to think I'm too old for TikTok, but I'm too young for Facebook. So at least one of those is true. I don't know about the other one, but in any event, I do want to congratulate Mr. Wirt on his outreach as well. But those are my thoughts on this. I'm not going to vote no because it's just an instruction to the staff to come up with some ideas. But our meeting calendar is getting pretty thick. We added another meeting in it, as I say, in an adjacent town to Redlands. You know, we don't have Chino, but we have Chino Hills. We don't have Victorville, but we have Hesperia and Apple Valley. I don't want to take from somebody who's already on this list and move it to another location, because then we'd have the other towns saying, you know, where's our Crestline meeting, for example, and Crestline doesn't have an adjacent town meeting. So those are my thoughts, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Little, thank you very much. I perhaps would like to make one additional comment before I call for the vote. Commissioner Little touches on something that's near and dear to my heart as chair of the commission, and that is perhaps a reminder to the public who might be watching and those who are here. My colleagues are dedicating a lot of their time for this effort. And frankly, I'd like to recognize them for that. Since July, we have had, if my count is correct, some 7 or 8 meetings. Going forward from today until Pearl Harbor Day, which is going to be the last meeting and presentation to the Board of Supervisors at the County Government Center, there are another 10 meetings, I believe, that are calendared. That's some 17 or 18 meetings. And while I certainly appreciate and sympathize at some level with the fact that there are some folks in various communities that are really a little bit disappointed that we may not be holding meetings in their communities. There's too little time, there are too many communities, and already those folks up here with me and our 3 alternates who are here with us today have devoted an awful lot of their time, efforts, and energy. So please understand, we're not looking to omit anybody, but staff has had an extraordinarily busy and difficult time getting these meetings organized, getting them calendared, and having us be able to approve the calendars so that we can go out and hold these regularly and properly noticed public meetings in various locations throughout the county. It's not as if every meeting is at the County Government Center. Here we are in lovely Yucaipa City Hall. So we are doing everything we can to try and accommodate the interests of everyone in all of our communities to have committee or commission meetings, I should say, if not in your community, close to your community. And staff, I would like to commend because I think they have done an extraordinary job thus far in making that happen. But all that being said, I am not going to be a naysayer. I'm prepared to call for Commissioner Jernigan. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just want to address the comment in the 9/12 email that stated that there is no such a term as a neutral location. The term was used to allow the full resources for the county to be available for our workshop. And that's what it was for. It was never considered a separate meeting just to inform. It's a workshop that we will be discussing and hopefully learning more about how to use the resources that are available as far as the mapping software.
Good.
Commissioner, thank you. Commissioner Little.
Could I ask, perhaps Ms. Serber knows the answer to this, what's our statutory obligation for meetings other than at the county seat and evening and weekend and so forth? If you recall, I hate to put you on the spot.
So under the elections code, the county as a whole is required to hold a total of 4 public hearings. There is no specific number of those that have to be held by the advisory commission. You have well exceeded any requirement under the elections code.
And then was there a rule that we have at least 1 or more meetings elsewhere, or is there no, or is the statute silent on that?
The statute is silent about the location of the meetings, other than to be in the district, somewhere in the area that is being redistricted. So it would have to be somewhere in San Bernardino County, I believe. One of the meetings does have to be after 6 p.m.
We can't have a Las Vegas meeting. No.
I guess you can.
That wasn't,
Although
a
I'm
mo-
not
that
sure
wasn't
that
a.
complies with county requirements.
That wasn't that wasn't a motion, but, and then is there a rule that at least one meeting, I recall this somewhere, has to be in the evening?
Yes, one of the meetings needs to be either at 6 PM or later or on the weekend. And again, we've had one meeting and we have future meetings scheduled for 6 PM.
So the rules are no particular number of meetings, no particular location, as long as it's within the county, but one of the meetings has to be after 6 or after a weekend.
For the advisory commission, there's no requirement. The county as a whole does have to hold 4 public hearings. And 3 of those have to be held by the Board of Supervisors. Those are the meetings that are set in November and early December.
Commissioner Little, anything further?
No, thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome. All right. I think I still have to call for the vote on this. We've gotten a little sidetracked and a lot of that I'm sure is my fault. We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. Ms. Manel, I'm not sure if I asked because I've gotten so distracted with the comments that were being made and so forth. Did we have any public requests for comment on this issue?
We did on the item as a whole. I'm not sure if there is any other direction that's going to be presented from commissioners, but we do have a public speaker slip, yes.
We do, and at this time, if I could, I'd like to call, I believe the gentleman's name is Mr. James Albert, please. Mr. Albert, good morning, welcome.
Hello, Commissioners. James Albert, San Bernardino, representing the League of Women Voters of the San Bernardino area, 3rd District constituent. Just want to say thank you for adding that evening time meeting in San Bernardino. I hope it's a great success. I do want to emphasize also seeing if the commission would be willing to replicate the model that the State Redistricting Commission is using to gather COI testimony with their virtual meetings. They've held 2 or 3 of them specifically for our region here, and it's been a great success. I know we pushed for the Redlands and Loma Linda meeting, and I'm very grateful for that. But I've had a few advocates that have reached out to me that would love to be there in person, which is certainly the most persuadable way to participate in this process, but they do not want to put their families at risk and their loved ones at risk because of the surge of COVID-19 right now. So I just encourage us to look at what the State Redistricting Commission is utilizing in terms of gathering COI testimony and looking at whether we should add a virtual meeting to be able to encourage participation for the folks that are just not comfortable yet attending in-person meetings. In terms of this agenda item, I would like to request that the commission review the different types of redistricting commissions that are available for future commissions that will take place every 10 years. Currently, this is an advisory redistricting commission, which the Board of Supervisors did adopt. The League of Women Voters is in support, as well as other good government groups, of an independent redistricting commission, which the State Redistricting Commission currently is, where the elected officials stay out of the process and the commission is empowered to make the final decision on the map drawing process. And with the recent changes in Measure J, with the charter changes, the County of San Bernardino is empowered to do so. And I think your recommendation in favor of an independent or a hybrid redistricting commission would certainly go a long way in improving the process for the next redistricting process in 2030 and so on. So thank you so much, and I look forward to engaging with you in the future. Thank you.
Mr. Albert, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to be here with us this morning. We greatly appreciate your comments. Madam Secretary, do we have any further requests for public comment?
We do not, Judge.
Wonderful. Let's move on then.
On the, excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Of course, Commissioner Dasley.
On the item about providing direction to staff, given the comments of Mr. Elber, I'm probably mispronouncing that, but I did have a question for staff along those lines. You know, that October 14th meeting is in the chambers for the Board of Supervisors, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the Board of Supervisors still conducting their meetings virtually with comments that are able to come in from people on Zoom or whatever it is?
Commissioner Badsley, the San Bernardino Board of Supervisors is their in-person participation. We do still accept comments online, but we do not have a virtual participation for the public at this point.
Okay. Is that a possibility to do that particular meeting and receive comments virtually or not? Is that technology?
That's something that we can definitely have staff look into doing that.
Right, so I guess that would be my, along the direction to staff is I would request that staff look into the possibility of doing a virtual meeting on that October 14th Board of Supervisors, where the Board of Supervisors chambers.
Would you like to propose that as
Yes.
a motion?
Yes, I would.
Okay, can I restate the motion then?
Yes,
Just so we're
absolutely.
clear. The motion is that staff be directed to look at the possibility of having that October 14th, 6 PM meeting at the Board of Supervisors chambers at the County Government Center have virtual capability. Whether or not it turns out we can do so is another question altogether, but certainly we can have staff take a look at the possibility of that. Have I stated the motion correctly, Commissioner?
Yes, you have. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
That
Second.
being-
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Jernigan. Any further comments from any of my colleagues up here? Any further comments or any comments at all from the alternate commissioners on this? No? All right, so I'll call for the vote. All in favor of that direction, say
Judge,
aye.
before we place the vote, if I could just ask very quickly for a
course.
point of clarification, just for the record, in the motion, can we add the word for public virtual participation? Because I believe that's Mr. Badsley's intent.
It is, and if I didn't say that, I think that was my intent, and I should have. So we'll add that phrase, public comment and public participation. How's that? Okay?
Thank you.
So with that amendment to the motion, which we now have, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes unanimously. Madam Secretary, do we have any further public comments at all this morning?
No, we do not, Judge. Thank you.
And I believe that takes care of all of the items that we had agendized for this morning's meeting. At this time, what I'd like to do is thank everyone, in particular our presenters, certainly Ms. Server, but particularly Mr. Wirt and Ms. Rodriguez. We appreciate the two of you taking time out of your day to be here with us, and we greatly appreciate the presentations that you've made today, particularly with regard to the Redistricting Commission website. We are most grateful. Okay. At this time, I will go ahead and indicate that this meeting is adjourned. Our next scheduled meeting will be next Wednesday, September 22nd at 10 a.m. at the Rancho Cucamonga Council Chambers. Thank you all for being here with us today, and we hope to see you next week.